The first thing we do on the second year of the channel is the last thing we did on the first year. We're running another bear. Last time it was the turn of Ursaring to get a redo, and this time we are running Snorlax. Snorlax is a lot bulkier than Ursaring, but its base speed is significantly lower. Now will that be a hindrance? Let's find out together. And just before we get into our half an hour or so with Snorlax, I want to say thank you to everybody who's helped celebrate the first year of the channel together. The stream we did on the anniversary itself was an awful lot of fun, and I think we got Jinx, Electabuzz and Magmar some fantastic redo times. And I am very excited to see what the next 12 months will bring us. We're going to be branching out into other Pokemon games in this year, but Pokemon Crystal will always be my home. And one of my plans is to bring Johtonian Pokemon both into Emerald and into Fire Red. It's going to be a lot of fun, but for now we must focus on Snorlax. So let's have a look at our base stats. We are level 5 with 31 HP. We're holding a berry and our only move is Tackle. We've got 17 in attack, 11 in defense, 12 in special attack, 17 in special defense and just 9 in speed. We're not quite Shuckle Slow, but goodness me, we are getting very close to being Shuckle Slow. But now with the potion received from Professor Elm's aid, it's time to take on our first encounter. It's a level 2 Rattata this time and we easily two-shot it. And while we're making our way to Mr. Pokemon's house, I've got a little question for all of you. In the Generation 2 runs that we do together, Normal type is clearly the dominant type. When we move back over to Fire Red though, and especially when we start doing Emerald runs as well, I want to know what type do you think will be on top of the leaderboard most consistently? I honestly have no idea myself. I'm leaving it to all of your better judgment to tell me what should I be expecting. In the meantime though, let's take on the first rival battle. I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Totodile with Chikorita, and that is simply because the Chikorita line is the bulkiest of the 3 starters. It was just a couple of hits to knock it out, we grew to level 8 in the process, and we learnt Amnesia. But now that we're in Professor Elm's laboratory once more, we'll call the rival triple question mark, we'll get the Pokeballs from Professor Elm's aid, and we'll start making our way towards Violet City. There are a couple of things we need to do over in Violet City. We need to ascend the Sprout Tower and we also need to battle the gym. In a change of normal routing, we're going to go straight into the tower to try and get a little bit more speed behind us. At the very tippy top of the tower, we have Elderly waiting for us. Elderly has a pair of Bellsprouts and a Hoot Hoots thrown in for good measure, and it's 2 shots on all of them. And true to our base stats, we are also in the slow experience group, so that means we are still only level 12 as we leave the Sprout Tower. On the upside though, that is still a 3 level advantage going into Falkner, and after we've taken on the pair of Bird Keepers blocking our way, we're at level 13, and I reckon this will be more than enough to take on our first gym leader together. This is Falkner, the flying type specialist who leads with Pidgey. Pidgey's a simple 2-shot with Tackle and we're on to the Pidgeotto. We cannot outspeed it, but it's another 2 shots to knock it out, and we get the Zephyr Badge in a time of 8 minutes and 36 seconds. And in addition to getting the Zephyr Badge, we also get the Mud Slap TM. And Mud Slap, of course, will allow us to hit Rival 2's Ghastly. And seeing as we need to menu anyway to activate the Repel in Union Cave, we might as well teach it now. So our moves are Tackle, Amnesia and Mud Slap, and we're also going to take on some of the trainers in Union Cave. And it's against Fire Breather Bill and his coughing that we grow to level 15. At level 15, we learn Defense Curl. It's going to be one of those moves we get rid of very quickly as we're bulky enough as it is. And now that we're out of the cave, we'll head into the forest to catch our HM friends. And first up today is Paris. Paris will be helping us out with Cut, Sweet Sense, Dig and Flash, and of course the second HM friend is Psyduck. Psyduck's going to be helping us out with Surf, Strength, Waterfall and Whirlpool. And with both of those safely tucked away in the bag for another run, we're going to go straight into our second gym together. And this is of course where we face Bugsy, the bug type specialist who leads with Metapod. And in a similar vein to our last gym battle, the only decent attacking move at the moment we have is Tackle, so we're going to be relying on that and hoping we don't take too much damage off the Scyther. Scyther starts to Fury Cutter and it is dealing quite a bit of damage, but we're able to get just enough tackles in and survive on 1 HP to get through on our very first attempt and get the Hive Badge in a time of 14 minutes and 30 seconds. We really did get very lucky there, so let's see if our luck can continue as we engage the rival in our second of 5 battles together. This time he's caught a Ghastly and he's going to be leading with it, and this is the exact reason why we taught Mud Slap. It's going to be 2 shots with Mud Slap to knock the Ghastly out, and then we're going to be swapping back to Tackle. This is the final battle though, where we're going to be relying on Tackle as our main attacking move, and Tackle really is not a great move at all. We are dealing very little damage at all against this Bayleaf. We do manage to knock it out in a few hits though, comfortably surviving on 71 HP. And we are through the second rival battle in a time of 15 minutes and 15 seconds. We did however lose a lot of time there because of having to tackle so many times. So we're going to get rid of Tackle now and replace it with an altogether superior move. We're going to be losing 20 PP in the process, but we are doubling our base power with Headbutt, and we also get 100% accuracy. The chance to flinch doesn't really matter too much with Snorlax because we are so slow, but it's still a huge improvement all around. Just south of Goldenrod City we catch our third of 4 HM friends, and this one is Abra. Abra's going to be helping us out with teleports all across the run, and they are very happy to be able to do it. We'll grab the bike in Goldenrod City and then cycle up to the guard at the gate, where he is going to give us our 4th and final HM friend. This one's my personal favourite, it's Kenya the Spearow, and can you believe it? They're going to be flying us everywhere. We'll grab the Quick Claw from the National Park, that's going to give us a 23% chance to hit first on every single turn, so we'll be gluing that to our Snorlax. We'll have a little chance with Floria, we'll teleport back to Goldenrod City, and just before going into the gym we're going to buy some TMs. We're going to buy a couple of Fire Punch TMs for now, and that should see us fit all the way through till Jasmine. We've got a long way to go until we face Jasmine though, and let's make a little bit of progress now by taking on our 3rd gym together. This is Whitney's normal type gym, who led with Clefairy, who's already fainted, and we're almost about done with the Miltank as well. That battle was over in the blink of an eye, and we get the plain badge in a time of 19 minutes and 54 seconds. Our other award for defeating Whitney is the Squirts bottle that we'll pick up so that we can move that pesky tree out of the way. But before we get there though, we take on Fire Breather Walt. He's got a pair of Bumhead Fire Duck, and it's against this pair of Bumhead Fire Ducks that we grow to level 22 and replace Defense Curl with Belly Drum. Belly Drum is going to maximise our attack at the cost of half of our HP, so it really can be a game-changing move, but we've got to use it in the right circumstances. But now that we're in Ecruteak City, we'll go into the Kimono Girls Dance Theatre, and we will knock out all 5 of the evolutions. I chose to show Umbreon this time because it was the bulkiest, but even that was just a couple of hits to knock it out. Our reward is Surf, which Snorlax can learn, however we have a really bad special attack of just 65. So even though Surf is a very powerful move, it's probably not right for our Snorlax. Another move that probably isn't right is Hidden Power, but we're going to get it anyway, just because it could come in handy a little bit later on. We'll grab the Minceberry at the Moo Moo Farm, we'll also grab the Nugget to sell for vitamins, we'll make our way into Olivine City, and now we're going to get a move that we are absolutely going to be teaching to our Snorlax. As we get Strength from the man at the cafe. We're going to be running Strength and Headbutt in tandem for a little bit, and the reason we're running both together is because we only have 15 PP on our attacking move, so having a combined 30 PP means we need to heal an awful lot less. At the top of the lighthouse we had a quick chat with Jazz, we picked up the rare candy on the floor below her, we teleported out and we find ourselves back in Ecruteak City. It's here that we have the 3rd rival battle waiting for us, and this time he's going to be leading with Haunter. We start with a Belly Drum to get our attack all the way up to maximum, we Mud Slap the Haunter and one-shot it away, and now it's time for us to try and sweep. The Magnemite is no issue at all, we don't outspeed the Zubat though, and I misclick. It's at this point that I decide to change strategy anyway, and we are going to be teaching Fire Punch in place of Headbutt. Because while our special attack might not be the greatest, we're still going to be able to make use of it in a pinch and really focus on those pesky steel types while taking out ghosts as well. And that's exactly what we did here because it was good enough for the Haunter, we one-shot the Magnemite, we swapped to Strength for the Zubat, and then it's 2 shots against the Bayleaf to get through the 3rd rival battle in a time of 28 minutes and 27 seconds. Let's now fall through the floor, release the beasts, and make our way into our 4th gym together. This is Morty's Ghost and Poison Dual Type Spectacular Gym, But before we take on Morty himself, we're going to have to take on some of the gym trainers. It's against Medium Grace's pair of Haunter that we grow to level 29, and we say goodbye to Mudslap once and for all and relearn Headbutt. We're now at the point in the run where Mudslap has outlasted its shelf life. Even though it's super effective against the Ghastly line, we are much better off using our weaker special attack with a higher base power move. And now it is time for the 4th gym leader. This is Morty, the Ghost and Poison type specialist who leads with Ghastly. 5 punches a one shot on the Ghastly, so he sends out the first of his 2 Haunters, and we get cursed. We are now on the Gengar though, Hypnosis misses on turn 1, and we get a lucky burn against the Gengar. We are still taking curse damage though, as we knock it out on our 3rd turn, and here comes the final Haunter where disaster strikes. Spite has reduced our PP so much for Fire Punch that we have to take a reset. I didn't really factor in Spite during my PP management for this gym, so I used an Ether and then we rebattled, and we know that this gym is very easily winnable. We just had some really duff luck on the final Pokemon. We get the exact same lucky burn against the Gengar this time, and we are back onto that Haunter. This time we've got 5 Fire Punch PP remaining. Spite knocks it down to 2, but that's more than enough to finish off the Haunter, and we get the Fog Badge in 31 minutes 19 seconds. Let's now head out of Ecruteak City and travel across the open seas. Our next destination is going to be Cianwood City. We've got a couple of bits and bobs to do over in Cianwood. The first, of course, is to pick up the secret potion for Jazz from the man in the dodgy shop, and the second is to take on the gym. This is our 5th gym leader together. This is Chuck and his fighting type gym, and he's going to be leading with Primeape. This is one of very few gyms where we're going to have the type disadvantage, but we're going to start off with a belly drum and hope for the best. We're down to 33 HP as the Primeape gets knocked out in a single hit, and here comes Poliwrath. Chuck loses the coin toss, Dynamic Punch misses, we knock it out in one shot, and we get the Storm Badge in a time of 33 minutes and 57 seconds. Our other reward for defeating Chuck is getting the Fly HM from his wife, so we'll teach that to Kenya straight away and fly over to the Lake of Rage, where an angry red Gyarados is waiting for us. We don't risk a belly drum against the Gyarados and go straight in with an all-out offense. We knock it out in a pair of strengths, and that enables us to chat with the Liar with the Flyers. It's Lance himself, and I am pleased to tell you that in the Mahogany Underground, absolutely nothing happened. That means we'll skip to the end where Lance gives us the Budget's Whirlpool HM, and we'll head into our 6th gym together. This is Price. He's an Ice-type specialist, and he will lead with that very non-Ice-type Seal. And the belly drum strategy works perfectly enough against Chuck, so we're going to try it against Price as well. We belly drum and then we get to strength, and it's one shot on the Seal. He sends out Dugong and the Quick Claw activates to knock that out in a single hit, and the Quick Claw activates against the Piloswine to knock it out as well. 3 simple one shots is all it takes to get the Glacier Badge in a time of 39 minutes and 38 seconds. We are very much on a roll with our gym leaders at the moment, so we're going to climb the lighthouse once more, give the secret potion to Jasmine, make sure she actually gives the secret potion to Amphi, we're going to hotfoot it into the gym behind her, and we're going to engage her in battle. This is Jasmine, our 7th gym leader together. She's a Steel-type specialist who will lead with a pair of pesky Magnemite. And we are very fortunate to outspeed both of these Magnemite, so we don't have to worry about getting paralysed. We grow to level 36 against the first one and decline learning both Rest and Snore, and we are on to the Steelix. Steelix is deep into the yellow with our first Fire Punch. She declines to heal, so it's just 2 simple hits to knock it out, and we get the Mineral Badge in a time of 40 minutes and 52 seconds. That was a very nice Jasmine fight and shows what a Pokemon with hands can do. Let's now fly back to Violet City where we're going to pick up the rare candy. We're going to go back to Goldenrod City where we have yet another rare candy waiting for us, along with another nugget that we're going to be selling for yet more vitamins. We'll go into the department store now where we'll grab the Return TM. We'll teach that as soon as we can lose strength, and we're also going to get some more punching TMs as well. It's a pair of Ice Punches and a pair of Fire Punches. We teach some vitamins, and now it's time to take on the 4th and penultimate rival battle. This one's in the Goldenrod Underground, and this time he's going to lead with a very pesky Golbat. This Golbat has a nasty habit of confusing our slower Pokemon, but the Quick Claw activated and we knocked it out in one shot. We got rid of Magnemite in one hit as well, and the Haunter used Curse. That means it knocks itself out and we are on to Sneasel. We used Fire Punch against the Sneasel and take a little bit of Curse damage, and we swapped Headbutt to finish it off, and that brings us on to Meganium. We use strength against the Meganium as he poisons and body slams us, but we knock it out on our second strength and we are through the fourth and penultimate rival battle in a time of 46 minutes and 5 seconds. We'll climb to the top of the radio tower after rescuing the director. We'll get the pink bow off Marie, that's going to give us a 10% boost to our normal type moves. We'll get the radio card from the lady at reception and we'll fly back to Mahogany. Now it's time for a trip east into the ice path. We've got a couple of bits and bobs to pick up in here, the first being the Waterfall HM. We'll teach that along with Whirlpool at this exact moment to the Psyduck. And we're also going to get the Nevermelt Ice. The Nevermelt Ice is going to give us a 10% boost to our ice type moves, much like the pink bow. And now that we're in Blackthorn City, we'll go to the move deleter to get rid of strength, and we're going to have a big reshuffle of our learn set. The first thing we'll do is teach Shadow Ball so that we have a super effective physical move for both Ghost and Psychic type Pokemon. We're going to say goodbye to Fire Punch and hello to Return in its place, and then we're also going to replace Headbutt with Ice Punch. And even though Ice Punch is super effective against Claire's gym, I think we're going to stick to Return. So this is Claire, our 8th gym leader together. She's a Dragon-type specialist who leads with 3 Dragonair. Dragonair number 1 comes out and doesn't Thunder Wave us, using Slam instead. We Quick Claw return away the second Dragonair, and then Dragonair number 3 also uses Slam as well. That was very odd behaviour from Claire. And now we're on to the Kingdra. We take off over half health on turn 1, we activate with the Quick Claw on turn 2, and that means we've knocked out the Kingdra and we've earned the Rising Badge in a time of 55 minutes on the nose. For a Pokemon with only base 30 speed, this is a remarkably quick time. Let's try and keep it up now as we make our way to the Pokemon League. We'll grab the rare candy en route to Victory Road, and while we're in Victory Road, we're also going to grab the Earthquake TM. Earthquake is going to give us that much needed coverage against those pesky Steel-type Pokemon. So we're going to replace Ice Punch with Earthquake, and from this point onwards we're going to be purely a physical attacker. That might seem a little bit strange at first, especially with Lance coming up, but this is the best strategy that I have found. Before we get to Lance and the rest of the Elite Four though, we've got to get through the rival for the last time. We knock out his Sneasel in one shot, and we are on to Golbat. Golbat doesn't confuse us, so we one-shot it away with Return, and we swap to Earthquake for the Magneton. Magneton's 4 times weak to Earthquake, so goes away straight away, as does the Haunter as well. That brings us on to his final 2 Pokemon, a Kadabra that we use Return against, and his final Pokemon is Meganium. Meganium gets sent deep into the red on turn 1, and on turn 2 we knock it out, and we say goodbye to the rival for the very last time in a time of 59 minutes and 31 seconds. And now that we're in the Pokemon League, we'll start off by healing up our Snorlax, whether we need it or not. And now we'll say thank you to the HM friends. So it's thank you to Kenya, to Abra, to Psyduck, and merci to Paris. You've all been a great help in the Johto region. You all get yourselves about 5 to 10 minutes worth of rest as we look at our stats for Snorlax taking on the Pokemon League. We are level 49 with 241 HP. We are holding the Quick Claw with Return, Belly Drum, Earthquake, and Shadow Ball. We have 145 in attack, 100 in defense, 100 also in special attack, 144 in special defense, and just 65 in speed. Will those stats be enough to take us through the league? We're about to find out as we engage our first league member, Will, in battle. Will is a Psychic-type specialist who leads with Xatu. We Quick Claw activate to knock out the Xatu in one shot, and here comes Jinx. Jinx tries Psychic, but that barely tickles us, and we are on to Executor. It's 2 shots on the Executor, and we do get Leech Seeded in the process, and the next Pokemon is Slowbro. Slowbro uses Curse, which does increase its physical defense, but not enough to prevent a 2-shot. The final Pokemon is Xatu, we knock that out, and we get through Will in a time of 1 hour and 49 seconds. League member number 2 is Koga. He's a Poison-type specialist who leads with Ariados. We're going to start off with a return on the Ariados, and Ariados is too weak to survive it. We get confused by the Venomoth, but Snorlax chooses to ignore being confused. We choose to decline learning Rollout as we grow to level 50, and then we do hit ourselves in confusion against the Fortress. Fortress tries to stall by using Protect, but we're able to get through in 3 Earthquakes eventually, taking a little bit of damage en route, and that brings us on to Muck. Our attack is huge and Muck's defense is very low, so we get rid of that in one shot, and the final Pokemon is Crobat. Crobat gets caught in one of those pesky healing loops, although he does eventually land a Toxic on us just to be mean. It doesn't stop us knocking it out on turn number 3, and we defeat Koga in a time of 1 hour, 1 minute and 51 seconds. Third up is Bruno, the fighting type specialist who leads with Hitmontop. We start with a belly drum as Hitmontop goes underground and then we get to earthquaking. It's one shot with the Hitmontop underground and then we take some damage from Hitmonlee's double kick. We knock it out in one hit though, and here comes Hitmonchan. We're down to 19 HP as the Hitmonchan uses Mach Punch, and the next Pokemon is Machamp. The Quick Claw activates and knocks it out in one shot, and that just leaves Onix left to go. Onix outspeeds though and knocks us out with Earthquake. So we're going to have to take a reset there, and this time we're not going to overcomplicate matters. We're going to try and sweep without a belly drum instead. That does unfortunately mean that Machamp is now a 2-shot, so we're relying on pure luck for Cross Chop not to hit. It does eventually happen on reset number 4, and a combination of Return and Earthquake knocks it out. We are back onto the Onix with 213 HP this time. Earthquake takes Onix deep into the red as the Sandstorm brews. We knock it out on turn number 2, and we are through Bruno in a time of 103.31. Our fourth and final league member is Karen, the Dark type specialist who leads with Umbreon. We knock out the Umbreon in 2 returns, taking a sand attack to the face in the process, and then we return the Vileplume. We get paralysed, so I decide to take a reset and change my strategy. We're going to belly drum this time as Umbreon fortunately feint attacks instead, and that means we are now on 679 in battle attack for the rest of this match. And that just means that we win. It is a simple one-shot against all of Karen's remaining Pokemon. We still have 112 HP to deal with, but we take no further damage throughout the rest of this battle, and we have defeated Karen in a time of 1 hour, 4 minutes and 26 seconds. And that means there is just one obstacle between us and the Hall of Fame. It's time for Lance, the liar with the Flyers who leads with Gyarados. And our best strategy for this battle is going to be using belly drum and then trying to sweep. Anything we do for this Lance battle is going to require some luck. Our very low speed is what's holding us back, so we absolutely need to find some way of dodging paralysis while also being able to deal a lot of damage. I had a look at the Ice Punch strategy after editing this video, and Ice Punch would not be enough to consistently one-shot those Dragonites. It was range after range after range, so we really do have to just hope for the best with our physical moves instead. And so my initial plan was to use the Paralysed Cure Berry in order to dodge at least one of the 2 Dragonite Thunder Wave and then get the Gen 2 miss on the other. That didn't work out though because we were too slow for the rest of the battle, so I swapped to the Quick Claw, and what a difference that made. It still required a lot of luck, but that now means we have a 23% chance of outspeeding every single Pokemon. We see it in action against Dragonite number 1, and here comes Dragonite number 2. He gets the Gen 2 miss on Thunder Wave, and we are in a really good position for the rest of the battle. We one-shot the Aerodactyl with Return, and that just leaves 2 Pokemon left to go. We take a tiny bit of damage from Charizard's Slash, and the final Pokemon is that level 50 Dragonite. He gets locked into Outrage, our attack is huge, we knock it out, and we have defeated Lance in a time of 1 hour, 9 minutes and 43 seconds. And our official league time is 1 hour, 9 minutes and 59 seconds. I am very happy with that league time considering our base 30 speed, but the run is only half done. We've got another 8 badges plus the red fight left to come, so don't you dare go anywhere. Kanto is next. And we are back, where it all began outside our home in Newbark Town, where Professor Elm has a phone call for us. He gives us the SS ticket because for some mysterious reason he wants to get us out the country quick, sharp and in a hurry. We'll do some investigations while we're on the boat, but in the meantime we're going to welcome back our HM friends. So it's a warm welcome back to Kenya, to Abra, to Psyduck and to Paris, and then there are just a couple of bits we need to do before we leave the country once and for all. We're going to grab a pair of rare candies, one from Mount Malta, and the second one is in the Whirl Islands. And with both of those safely tucked away in our bag, it's a hop, skip and a jump, and we have found ourselves in Kanto. And of course the first thing we do in Kanto is the last thing we do in Johto. We're going to get another rare candy, this time from the chairman of the Pokemon Fan Club. And with that one packed away in our lunchbox with the rest of them, we'll cycle north into Saffron City for a fleeting visit. We'll head west into Celadon City, where our first destination is going to be the cafe. We have a very hungry bear on our hands, so we give it the leftovers from the bin. We also get the PP up from the bush, And now it is time for our Cantonian Gym Leader Gauntlet. The first Gym Leader is Erica. She's a Grass type specialist who leads with Tangela. Tangela's a one-shot with return and we get seeded by the Jumpluff, but we only have 2 Pokemon left to go. Victory Bell's another one-shot and the final Pokemon is Bellossom. Our attack is large enough to knock out the Bellossom in a single turn, and that's the Rainbow Badge acquired in a time of 1 hour, 13 minutes and 59 seconds. Up next is Misty, the Water type specialist who leads with Golduck. Golduck is a simple one-shot with a return, and here comes Quagsire. Quagsire's another one-shot, and the next Pokemon is Lapras. We are somehow able to one-hit the Lapras as well, and the final Pokemon is Starmie. We swap to Shadow Ball for Starmie, but we get confused in the process. We start hitting ourselves a few times in confusion, but when Shadow Ball hits, it's another simple one-hit wonder. We have the option to learn Hyper Beam, which we decline, and then we get the Cascade Badge in a time of 1 hour, 18 minutes and 10 seconds. Our third Gym Leader in this section is Sabrina. She's a Psychic type specialist who leads with Espeon, and this is going to be 3 simple Shadow Balls. We don't outspeed the Mr. Mime, but even with a barrier, it's not enough to survive our 191 in-battle attack. We one-shot the Alakazam as well, and that's Sabrina's badge in a time of 1 hour, 18 minutes and 53 seconds. Our fourth Cantonian Gym Leader is Lieutenant Surge. He's an Electric-type specialist who leads with Raichu. We get paralysed straight off the bat by Raichu, so we're going to have to throw the dice every single turn. We get lucky against the Electrode, and here comes Magneton. Magneton uses Lock On, but it's no use for that as it gets knocked out by an Earthquake. We are onto Electrode number 2 now as we get fully paralysed a few turns in a row, and the double team keeps getting spammed. We get very lucky and actually hit a return, and the final Pokemon is Electabuzz. Electabuzz doesn't double team, so return hits on our first attempt, and we get the Thunder Badge in a time of 1 hour, 20 minutes and 17 seconds. Our final Gym Leader in this gauntlet is Brock. He's a Rock-type specialist who led with Graveler. Graveler's a one-shot with Earthquake, and we carry that on for Rhyhorn as well. And then it's much of a muchness against all the rest of his Pokemon as well. He has a 2x weakness to ground with all of his Pokemon, but he also has a 4x weakness to grass as well with every single one. So as we acquire the Boulder Badge in a time of 1 hour, 21 minutes and 34 seconds, we're going to give him directions to Earl's Pokemon Academy in Violet City. We'll tell him that that's where we trained up. In the meantime though, we're going to slow the pace down and have a chat with my friend Threedrill. I told him that I want to run an early Bug-type Pokemon very soon, and he gave me some tips. He said that when he was just a Threedle, he decided to train up to be Threedrill as quickly as possible. So we will absolutely bear that in mind as Butterfree takes on the challenge after Snorlax, and in the meantime we're going to say our goodbyes to Threedrill and make our way towards Cinnabar Island. On Cinnabar Island we start having a chat with Blue to try and get one of those Earth badges off him, but he disappears before we get a chance to finish the question. We'll have to confront him about that in a little bit though, because we've got another 2 Gym Leaders to face first. The first of course being Blaine, the Fire-type specialist who leads with Magcargo. We use Earthquake against the Magcargo, one of very few Pokemon slower than us. It gets knocked out on turn 1, as does the Bumhead Fireduck. That just leaves Rapidash left to go, who goes for Fury Attack instead of using the Sunny Day boosted Fire-type moves. We knock it out and we are through Blaine in a time of 1 hour, 23 minutes and 4 seconds. Our penultimate Gym Leader is Jasmine. She is a Poison-type specialist who led with Crobat. And of course Jasmine is everybody's favourite pushover. She really does need to up her game along with all of the other Cantonian Gym Leaders for that matter, but we just sweep through this entire gym. She doesn't bother wasting her money on a die hit this time, and we get the Soul Badge in a time of 1 hour, 23 minutes and 46 seconds. And now it's time for our final Gym Leader. It's Blue Time, a mixed-type specialist who leads with Pidgeot. Pidgeot outspeeds and deals negligible damage with a pair of Wing Attack as we knock it out in 2 hits, and up next is Alakazam. Alakazam uses Disable for no good reason, so we knock it out with a single Shadow Ball, and the next Pokemon is Rhydon. I decided to try using Belly Drum against the Rhydon to see just how well or badly it will do. We knock out the Rhydon in one shot, but up next is Gyarados. Gyarados lands a Hyper Beam and we are back to square one. I got a little bit overconfident there. Snorlax had played a lot better than I imagined it would, and I really did pay the price. So we are going to have to change our strategy slightly. We are now back on the Rhydon, and this time we go straight for Earthquake. Rhydon uses Fury Attack instead of Sandstorm, and I really don't know what the AI was doing in this run. It was all over the place, but I'm not going to complain about not having a Sandstorm. We're back onto the Gyarados and comfortably two-shot it now, and here comes Exeggutor. Because we're under half health, he goes straight for Egg Bomb, but it misses, so it's a comfortable two-shot, and the final Pokemon is Arcanine. Arcanine's extreme speed isn't enough to save it, and he gets caught in a healing loop. It is all over for Blue at this point. He starts wasting money on full restores, but it's an absolutely fruitless endeavour as we critical hit, we knock it out, and we obtain our final badge in a time of 1 hour 25 minutes and 38 seconds. And now with all 16 badges proudly on display, we will show Professor Oak. He will be mightily impressed that we've got all 16 gym badges, but he still has time to have a dig about our Pokédex. We don't mind though, he's unlocked Mount Silver for us, and that is our final destination of the run. There is one final rare candy to pick up to bring our total to 10. We enter Silver Cave, and now it is time for our final battle of the run. This is Red, and he leads with Pikachu. We start off with a belly drum, and this is one of the very few times I didn't want the Quick Claw to activate. That meant we got charmed, we also got hit by Thunder, so I take a reset. We also take this opportunity to swap the Quick Claw with the leftovers, and that's going to be healing us throughout the course of this battle now. We get rid of the Pikachu in one shot, and we are back onto 113 HP for the Espeon. Espeon sets up a Reflect, but a critical hit Shadow Ball knocks it out in one shot, and now it is Snorlax versus Snorlax. We use Return and take it deep into the red as Snorlax uses Amnesia. We knock it out on our second turn, and next up is Venusaur. Venusaur uses Sunny Day, but a critical hit from Return knocks it out in one shot. The next Pokemon is Charizard, and thank goodness we have huge special defense. We're able to one-hit the Charizard, and the final Pokemon is Blastoise. The Sunlight is strong, the Reflect fades, the Blizzard misses, and everything comes together, and we have defeated Red in a time of 1 hour 28 minutes and 15 seconds. And my goodness, I am so happy with this time. For a Pokemon that is very slow like Snorlax, 8th place is absolutely something to celebrate. That 8th place finish is bad news for Machamp though, as that has now been pushed down onto the page 1 drop zone. And that does unfortunately mean for our Jotonian starters that all 3 of them are now on page 2, as for Alligator has been pushed down to 11th place. Rhydon is now in 50th place on the page 3 drop zone. Heading up page 3 is Hypno, and poor Shuckle is still in last place. But with that, we are done. So I'm going to say thank you all so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. If you've enjoyed this run, then please do leave it a like. If you want to see more runs just like this, then please do think about subscribing. If you've got anything at all to say, please do leave it in the comments down below. But until next time, I will say thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon.